Important ideas. A. Muhammad founded Islam on the Arabian Peninsula in the 7th century. B. The Quran is the sacred book of Islam. It records the teachings of Muhammad. C. Muslims follow the 5 pillars of Islam: faith in one God, prayer, charity, fasting, and making a pilgrimage to Mecca. D. Islam rapidly spread through the Middle East, North Africa, and Spain. Islamic culture flourished under the Caliphates. Islamic scholars made important contributions in mathematics, science, and architecture. E. The gold salt trade exchanged salt from the Sahara Desert with gold found in West Africa. F. The gold salt trade encouraged the growth of a series of prosperous kingdoms in West Africa: Ghana, Mali, and Songhai. G. Other civilizations also flourished in Africa, including Ife, Benin, Zimbabwe, Ethiopia, and the cities of East Africa. H. The use of captives as slaves, a practice common in the ancient world, encouraged the later development of the slave trade. The rise of Islam. In the 5th century, warfare between the Byzantine and Persian empires interrupted overland trade routes from East Asia. Trade in spices, Chinese silks, and Indian cottons shifted to the sea routes connecting India with Arabia and the Red Sea. Overland caravans carried goods up the western coast of the Arabian Peninsula. Cities and towns developed near wells along these caravan routes. Mecca was one of the most important of these cities. In the 7th century, a new religion emerged here: Islam. Islam is Arabic for submission. Within 100 years, Islam grew to control an area larger than the Roman Empire. Muhammad, the Prophet of Islam. Islam was founded by Muhammad. Born in 570, he worked in Mecca as a merchant and a shepherd. He had a religious nature and often meditated in a nearby cave. One day, Muhammad had a vision that the angel Gabriel commanded him to convert the Arab tribes, who then believed in many gods, to belief in a single God, known in Arabic as Allah. This Allah was the same God worshipped by Jews and Christians. After his vision, Muhammad started to preach belief in Allah to his neighbors in Mecca. Some merchants in Mecca grew envious of Muhammad's growing influence. Fearing for his life, Muhammad fled to the city of Medina in 622. This event, known as the Hijra, marks the starting point of the Muslim calendar. In Medina, Muhammad became a popular religious leader. He gathered an army to retake Mecca in a jihad, or holy war. In 632, 2 years after recapturing Mecca, Muhammad became ill and died. By the time of his death, most of the tribes of the Arabian Peninsula had united and converted to Islam. The Quran. The Quran is the sacred text of Islam. Muslims believe it records the words revealed to Muhammad by God. Muhammad memorized these words and taught them to his followers. Then scribes wrote these words down in the Quran. The Quran contains many references to both Jews and Christians. Its 114 chapters also discuss forms of worship, proper conduct, and the treatment of women, along with many other matters. The fundamental doctrine of the Quran is contained in 2 articles of belief: there is no God but Allah, and Muhammad is his prophet. The 5 pillars of Islam. In contrast to some religions, Muslims worship God directly without the intercession of a priest or clergy. The 5 pillars of Islam: faith in one God, monotheism, prayer, charity, fasting, and pilgrimage, make up the basic religious duties that all Muslims must fulfill. In so doing, Muslims strengthen their faith in and service to Allah, whom they see as the supreme, all-powerful, and all-knowing God. 5 pillars of Islam graphic. Confession of faith. Muslims must affirm there is no God but Allah and Muhammad is his prophet. Prayer. Muslims must pray 5 times a day while facing east towards the city of Mecca. Charity. Muslims must give money to the poor and pay taxes to the mosque. Fasting. During the month of Ramadan, Muslims cannot eat or drink during daylight hours. pilgrimage. If physically able, a Muslim must make a pilgrimage or religious trip to Mecca. The Islamic religion spreads. Islam united the various Arab tribes with a common language, Arabic, and religion. Strengthened by their newfound unity, they set out on a holy war against non-believers. The Arabs were experienced desert fighters who fought with enthusiasm to gain entry into heaven. In contrast, by the time the Byzantines and Persians were both weakened from centuries of fighting each other, over the next century, Arab Muslims succeeded in creating a vast empire that extended from the Indus Valley into Europe as far west as Spain. Muslim expansion in Europe was only halted at the Battle of Tours. The Caliphates. When Muhammad died, a group of Muslim leaders chose a new leader whom they called the Caliph, or successor to Muhammad. 2 of the early caliphs were murdered. A new caliph then founded the Umayyad Caliphate. Most Muslims, known as Sunnis, followed the new caliph. A small group of Shia Muslims decided that only Muhammad's descendants could be caliphs. The division between Sunnis and Shia remains to this day. Under the Umayyad caliphs, the capital of the Arab Empire was moved to Damascus, in present-day Syria. After 750, a new family, the Abbasids, took over the caliphate. The Abbasids focused on trade rather than war and built a new capital at Baghdad, in present-day Iraq. The Abbasid caliph governed as an absolute ruler and surrounded himself with a rich court. As Islam expanded, the caliphs converted or enslaved other peoples they found worshipping many gods. At first, non-Arab converts to Islam had less rights than Arabs, but eventually all Muslims were treated equally. Muslim rulers treated Jews and Christians with respect since they believed and worshipped the same God. They were permitted to have self-governing communities. However, Jews and Christians had to pay a special tax and could not hold some public offices. The Golden Age of Muslim culture. While learning was in decline in Western Europe, a golden age of Muslim culture flourished, a period of great advances in culture and technology. Arab Muslims absorbed the cultural achievements of the Greeks, Persians, Romans, Jews, and Byzantines. They also controlled a vast trading area, larger than the ancient Roman Empire had been. The new Arab Empire, like the Byzantine Empire before it, served as a crossroads for trade. Goods from India, China, Africa, Spain, and the Eastern Mediterranean entered through Arab territories. This period also saw Arabic, the language of the Quran, achieve standardized use throughout the empire and become the language of literature, philosophy, and art. Arab cultural achievements graphic. Mathematics. Arab scholars borrowed the concept of zero from India and developed Arabic numerals, which were eventually adopted by other cultures. These developments led to great advances in algebra and geometry. Arts and crafts. Muhammad forbade making images of God or people. Islamic art is largely made up of geometric designs, flowers, and stars. Their textiles, leatherworks, and rugs are highly prized. Medicine. Arab doctors discovered that blood moves to and from the heart. They learned to diagnose many diseases, including measles and smallpox. Architecture. Muslim rulers built beautiful palaces and mosques richly decorated with mosaics, calligraphy, and geometric designs.